Hi, Cjguitar Dog. What's in Madrid here? Doing an astrology reading for you. Alright, so first up, you are born in January 1964, and that makes you an Aquarius in the Western zodiac and a wood dragon in the Chinese zodiac. So, firstly, your ascendant sign is in Pisces. Now, this will give you a softer disposition. It will make you more prone to going with the flow. It makes you less assertive, makes you more imaginative, and might be prone to daydreaming. Now, your sun sign is in Aquarius. So, Aquarius is quite independent sort of character. Generally, all Aquariuses are quite different, and they always, even though they're different, they generally stand up and fight for what they believe in, and they have very strong ideals and morals. Right. So the next planet we'll look at is the moon. Now your moon is in Cancer, and this will give you a very emotional sort of grounding. So you will tend to see things in an emotional light. You'll probably really care for people in your family, you'll care for your friends, and you probably like taking care of things at home. And yeah, that's our moon in Cancer. So the next planet I want to talk about is Uranus. So Uranus is your ruling planet, and your Uranus is in Virgo. So what usually happens is it gives you a sort of Virgo disposition. So you're a Virgo sort of Aquarius. Now what that means is you're probably more analytical, more practical, and more modest than the general Aquarius. So Virgo is generally critical. It's very critical on the self, and it is a strong believer of service. And service could mean to other people, could mean, in a hospital or to the general public. Either way, it's quite meticulous and quite hardworking. Now, the next planet I want to talk about is Mercury. So, Mercury represents your mind and how you think and communicate with people. Your Mercury is in Capricorn. So, Capricorn is quite strategic, it's ambitious, and it is very hardworking. It's methodical, it's sort of mechanical, and it builds on things and it considers things, and yeah, it does things. So quite a good place for Mercury to be in. Now the next planet is Venus. So Venus in Pisces makes you more dreamy when it comes to how you interact with people and the way you spend your money. You'll probably be very generous with your money. Money will flow from you very easily. If you think someone else deserves it more than you, you'll just hand it over. So yeah, you need to watch out for your money a little bit. When it comes to relationships, you might be a bit impractical. You'll be the one who takes the back seat, and you generally don't like arguments, and you like to go with the flow, as I said earlier. So that is shared with your ascendant being in Pisces. The next planet, Mars, is in Uranus. No, Mars is in Aquarius. So Mars is about how assertive you are and how you carry yourself, about masculinity, power, drive, your body, that sort of stuff. And in Aquarius, it makes you more intellectual. It makes you fight hard for your ideals. It gives you very strong morals and a will to fight for them. Now, this is your Saturn is also in Aquarius, so the way you that Saturn sort of represents contraction in life, where you have discipline, where you have focus, where you sort of nut things out. And being in Aquarius, it will just make you believe in things like um, general humane causes like fairness, and it will make you very high You'll have very strong morals, and you'll definitely be a fighter for those morals and causes that you choose to support. Alright, the next planet is Jupiter. So your Jupiter is in Aries. Jupiter is about expansion, so it's sort of opposite to Saturn. Being in Aries, it will make you quite impulsive on when you make big life decisions or when you want to travel. It will make you generally be forward looking. It will make you want to make big plans and just want to make sure you want to have a big life. Your Jupiter is in the first house, so first house represents body and your physical self, and Jupiter is expansion, so watch out for weight gain. Now let's talk a little bit about houses. So your most prominent house is the 12th house, and your Sun, Mars, Saturn, and Venus are all in the 12th house. Now this will give you again a sort of underground vibe. You're probably interested in things which are occult or institutions like the hospital or prison, stuff like that. It will make you more low key and make you also prone to, yeah, just daydreaming, maybe self undoing, like all the troubles in your life. You generally have created them for yourself rather than some external cause. And it also makes you imaginative and makes you quite creative. Now, this works well with your moon, which is in the 5th house, creativity, self expression. So, I imagine you will, well, you play guitar, so you express your emotions through your guitar playing, and yeah, that's how you roll. Modality wise, you have 3 in cardinal, 4 in fixed, 3 in mutable, so that makes you pretty well rounded. 3, 4, 3. Those things have to do with whether you take the initiative, whether you maintain status quo, or whether you change things. So you shouldn't have much of a problem starting things, maintaining things, and ending things when they need to be finished. Now, when we come to look at your elements, you have 3 in air, earth, and water, and 1 in fire. So you're pretty balanced, except for fire, which is lacking a little bit. Now, generally, people who lack fire are less impulsive. They don't like to get into arguments. They don't like things which are really intuition, very impulse, very sort of fiery emotion based. So you probably don't do so much things like sport and car racing and stuff like that. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is your aspects. The most prominent aspects I see are negative ones. So you have your Sun and Moon in opposition, and your Venus and Uranus in opposition. So opposition pretty much is what it means what it says. So it's opposing. Now, your Sun is in Aquarius, so it's intellectual. It's idealistic. It fights for its causes, and it's very outspoken. It's very independent. Now, your Moon is in Cancer, so it's a nurturer. It cares for things. It takes the backseat. It takes care of other people. It worries about emotions rather than intellect. So these 2 things will conflict in your life. Now, your Venus and your Uranus. So Venus is relationships. Uranus represents shock and change and abruptness. These 2 things being opposed to each other, you might find yourself having different relationships. Maybe you meet people unexpectedly, but then maybe they also leave unexpectedly. You probably find it a bit harder to maintain relationships, maybe because some days you really like someone and other days you don't, and you just seem to change a lot, and that confuses other people. Now, to talk about some good ones, you have your Mercury and Uranus in a good angle. Now, Mercury represents mind, Uranus represents, just different. In this case, it makes you a bit eccentric. It makes your ideas new, it makes you progressive, it makes you want to come up with new ideas, inventive ideas, and I think they will be quite good ideas as well, quite practical. So if you think of something that's a bit alternative, a bit different, it's probably good. Now, the last aspect is your Mars and Jupiter. So these two are on a good angle, and it means you are frank, straightforward, makes you generous, and it also makes you a good leader because Mars is quite assertive and Jupiter is expansive. So those are good leadership qualities. One more thing, your Jupiter and your Mercury are in a bad angle. So what that means is you might have difficulty in work, you might rush into investments and job opportunities and whatnot, and they might not work out so well. So you have an impulse, an urge to do things quickly, without thinking, and then your mind wants to think about things. It wants to plan, it wants to use, it wants to be creative, it wants to gain. And now, lastly, I'll talk about Dragon. So, Dragon is quite a powerful sign. It is similar to Leo in Western astrology. It's quite grand in everything it does. It can be reckless, it can be impulsive, but it's also sentimental and very devoted once it finds its life partner. Now, being a wood dragon, wood gives you a creative disposition, so you probably use your energy in creative means. So you want to be the leader in music, or you want to be the leader in art, so on and so forth. And that is your reading. Hope you enjoy it.